Alrighty, all right. So today I want to talk about today's games. Today's the divisional round of NFL football. It's always awesome when we have football on Saturdays. And the first game, which should be in a little less than over an hour, we're gonna have the Houston Texans facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about some interesting facts and stuff that I was able to come up with about these two games. So first I'm gonna cover the Texans game. So overall, these teams have faced off a bunch. I have a ton of stats here. So we have the all-time record. The Chiefs are leading the series 10 wins to 5. It's been a split. The Chiefs have won 5 at home. 2 over in the Texans facility. Sorry, no. So the Chiefs have won 5 at home and 5 away, and the Texans have won 2 at the Chiefs and 3 at home. Today's game is going to be at Kansas City. So that definitely puts Kansas City at an advantage when playing at home. In the playoffs, the teams have met twice. So the Kansas City Chiefs have won both times. So look, I don't offer betting picks, but if there were a pick that you were to put your money on, it's looking like the Kansas City Chiefs have had the best of this matchup, and they've won both times. All right, so the largest margin of victory, the Chiefs beat the Houston Texans in the 2019 AFC Divisional Round, like today, 51-31. Games famously known as the game where the Texans led 24-0, but then the Chiefs scored 41 unanswered. Man, this it's not the same cast, not the same players, but you probably have that in the back of their mind where they're thinking about the last time they met the Chiefs in the playoffs. So the Texans, they were 23-7 in. No, that's not important. So we have some recent trends. In today's game, looking back at the Chiefs, they've won 8 out of the last 10 matchups. Mahomes is averaging 318.5 passing yards per game, and 3.25 touchdowns per game against the Texans in his career. So he's pretty much dominated the Texans when he's played with them. Andy Reid is 7-1 all time against the Texans as a coach. Everything's kind of pointing in the direction of the of the Kansas City Chiefs. DeMeco Ryans, he hasn't had any previous matchups against the Chiefs, so this will probably be his first time matching up. Trying to counter Patrick Mahomes, and just like the overall diversity and how good this guy is, and he could pull out the game out of a hat at any moment. The Chiefs ranked 3rd in points allowed per game this season, while the Texans ranked 15th. The Texans defense, start off pretty good, but they've been on a downward trend. All right, so here we have some little known facts. The Chiefs were the Texans' inaugural opponent in 2002. The Texans won their first ever game 19-10. Texas quarterback C.J. Stroud, he's already broken the NFL rookie record for most consecutive games, without an interception, which is 6. Travis Kelce's career high receiving yards in a single game came against the Texans in 2022, 191 yards. Kelce's he's past his prime, but he's still a pretty effective player. You'd expect him to do a lot today in terms of blocking and being a scapegoat for Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs have hosted the Texans 3 times in the postseason, and the most frequent playoff. And they were the most frequent playoff opponent for Houston. So it looks like these teams have matched up quite a bit. Overall, the consensus is the Kansas City Chiefs are just a better team. It looks like if I were to have to put my money on anybody, I would definitely put it on the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so moving on to the nightcap, we have the Washington Commanders versus the Detroit Lions. So I'm a Patriots fan, but I've always said it, throughout the course of the season, if I had to put my money on somebody to win it all, it's the Detroit Lions. They've just been the best team, in all 3 facets of football: special teams, offense, and defense. Dan Campbell has his team, firing on all cylinders. They basically, they go as he goes, and this dude is always fired up, and he has them playing properly, and you couldn't ask for more than that. So some key data points on this game. All right, let's go back up here, see what we have. All right, so what do we got? All right, so the match in terms of matchups during the season, the Commanders actually, they have the better of this. Keeping in mind that Detroit is, for a long time they were a bad team. So the Commanders lead this series 31-16. These teams have met 3 times in the postseason, with the Commanders winning all 3 games. So, again, this historical data is something that you want to take with a grain of salt, right? But Commanders, they've won the series in the playoffs. Again, this Detroit team is another team. You can't look back and compare them to any of the other teams in the past, but that's something to look out for. The Lions, they've won 10 of their matchups at home, which is favors well for the Lions since they'll be playing at home today. So we have some key data points on this matchup. Let's see, what do we got? All right, so the largest margin of victory, Lions hold it. They won 45-0 in 1995, so we're talking about almost 30 years ago, to the day. Marking one of the biggest shutouts in their history. Commanders are 41-10 in 1991 during the Super Bowl winning season. Gotta check that out. All right, so some recent data trends. We have Detroit. They've won three of the four last matchups, reversing Washington's longtime dominance. Jared Goff is averaging 280 passing yards against the NFC East teams since joining Detroit. So look, man, he's averaging almost 300 yards. That says a lot. That says a lot. That means that he's throwing the ball, he's being effective, getting the ball down the field. The turnover battle, the Lions are a +7 in turnover differential this season, while the Commanders are a -3. They do the right thing. They handle the ball. They don't lose the ball. And they don't make as many mistakes. Obviously, you can tell by their record. All right, so Detroit is 7-1. 7-1 at Ford Field this season. I mean, not many teams are going in there to win, and that's their best home record since 1993. So the Lions' last playoff victory was in 1991 against the Commanders in an NFC Championship game. So, definitely none of these players were on that team, but, their last success was against the same team when they were the Washington Redskins. I hate the fact that they changed the name back in 1991, more than 34 years ago. Washington's defensive line has faced criticism for underperforming. But you know what? They've underperformed. But, that just speaks, that's a testament to Jaden Daniels and how good he's been. Rookie quarterback, and he's been able to, play as good as he's played, had the success he's played, and have his team in the playoffs. That just says a lot, when we've had so much mediocre rookie QB play because of the fact that these teams want to rush these QBs and have them in the NFL. All right, so this is the first time in the season since 2017 that Detroit is leading its division this late in the season. They won the division, and they won it by beating the Minnesota Vikings. And, that was a downfall for Minnesota. They went from fighting for first place all the way down to 5th. And then, obviously, last week, they just got destroyed. The Commanders have never played an overtime game against the Lions in their 47-match history, which is insane. So everything is decided. So, all right, so quarterback spotlight. It's going to be C.J. Stroud versus Patrick Mahomes. Stroud leads, Stroud. Let me see, what do we got? Stroud has been good. He started off pretty good, but he's been shaky. At times, he looks like he's second-guessing himself. He doesn't seem too sure when he's, where to go with the ball. They need to run the ball. You could tell in the last game, sometimes they'll shy away from running, and you need to run the ball so that you can open up your play-action pass and open up the balls down the field. If they can't run effectively, this will probably be a long day for them. All right, so Goff is having his best statistical season since 2018. He's been incredible, which is, that doesn't loom well for the Washington Commanders. All right. So these are both be super interesting games. If you have to ask me, my money's going to be on the fact that Kansas City Chiefs are going to come out on top, and Detroit Lions. They're the two best teams. I personally foresee them matching up in the Super Bowl. If you see this, drop a comment. Comment who you think is going to win. And then at 4:30, in a little less than an hour, we're going to have fun. We're going to watch this Houston Texans game and see if they can pull off a miracle. All right, enjoy, guys.